everybody. It's your girl, MsKickRocks.
What's up, yo? I'm just happy to be back, yo.
What the fuck is your
Come
name?
on, man. It's Smacking. They already know who I am. It's ShmaccinMcLitty, man. I'm just excited to be back, yo. Hey, man.
You still got that something in the water
Hey,
flag
you know,
about you.
I'm feeling so good, man. It's just, man, I'm happy to be back. It's been a long time.
Yeah,
It's been
I
a long time.
missed
Too
y'all.
long. Too long.
I
We
missed
missed
y'all.
y'all. Oh my gosh.
We got a lot of shit
Too
to
long.
talk about.
Oh my. A lot.
A lot has happened.
I'm glad y'all joining us now. You know what I mean? Shout out to those who was on the live.
Yes.
You know what I mean? We see y'all, man. Welcome to the show, man. Make sure y'all drop y'all comments. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, y'all following, doing all the above. You know what I mean? Before we get jumping. But yeah, Brett, a lot of talking. A lot of topics.
How did you enjoy the Something in the Water Festival? That shit looked epic, yo.
Oh man, and that's such an understatement. And I know that it's gonna get bigger and better, but I'm so proud of Virginia, man.
Yes, say that shit again.
Yeah, I'm proud of it, baby. The 2 Up, 2 Down came up, showed out, and just really like took care of home, man. Like there was no issues. Yo,
and that's something that really bothered me, you know, leading up to it. I felt like there was just way too many people just wishing ill on the festival. Like Pharrell didn't have the resources to pull this off without a hitch. Like we, as this new generation, don't have enough love and passion that we're appreciative of something like this being brought to us, and that we don't know how to act.
Yeah, and it was like that's what Pharrell preached. I mean, I remember on the second day he came out with all the Pharrell and Friends segment, and you know he just had everybody holding up the peace sign. And he's like, yo, that's what we want, something in the water to be, love. You know what I mean? Like that's what's in the water, love, peace, and that's really what it was, man. There was no issues. I don't even remember seeing an argument, a scuffle, like nothing. Like, and you know, I know we don't. It's uncommon, but yo, shout out to the police that were out there because the presence was heavy, but that made it a better experience because it was like almost like 3 state police on every other block. But even if you were standing there waiting, they were cool. They was like, how y'all enjoying it, man? You know, actually talking and conversing with us, man. It was like, I don't know, like it was just because everything was everywhere. So it just wasn't streamlined, man. It just love, man. I can't wait for the next one. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Britt gonna be
there for
Come
sure.
on.
I'm sad I missed it. Like I said, y'all know I love fucking Hov. So the fact that Hov was there, we had, you know, me and my boyfriend, we had like 10 tickets that we actually had 16 that we bought. And we just bought them, you know, to flip them and whatnot. But we, you know, we ended up coming up on some VIP passes. But had it not been for that Friday getting rained out, you know, we would have definitely went that Friday and that Sunday. It just didn't make sense because I went to my friend's wedding, which was also pretty fucking epic.
Come on, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Knowing her, I already know.
Homegirl had fucking Hennessy fountain at her wedding. Like, she was about that fucking action. They was fucking lit.
Wow.
The groomsmen was wearing fucking J's. It was the type of wedding that I wanted to go to.
That's dope.
It was like Virginia meets Philly.
Come on, okay.
So it was
and I love Philly.
And very interesting dynamic.
What? Oh my gosh. I know that joint. Yeah, as long as nobody drawing.
Jump.
Yeah.
No, I didn't see no fights. There was no beef. It was, you know, a couple girlfriends mad.
Right.
You know, at bay and whatnot.
Oh, okay.
But,
wow.
You know,
yeah, you know, that's stuff on the territory. Yeah,
when you got the Henny fountain, like what else do you got?
Right.
Henny arguments and Henny D.
Yeah, straight up. But like you said, the rain though, I still felt proud of Virginia because he's like, you know how. You know, you got a friend that act one way around you, but then they get around other people and they act something totally different.
Okay.
Like, you know, Virginia acted like who she is, man. Like crazy tripolar weather. It wasn't like she acted like nobody different when outtimers came in. Like it was like, yeah, this is VA. This is welcome.
But that was what also respect too. Like when you have that type of event, you know, usually they put on their disclosures, rain or shine, and the fact that Pharrell made that big decision to say, look. It's about the safety of people, you know, it's about doing the right thing. Like, we're going to shut it down and we're going to give people a third of their money back. I thought that was very respectable.
I won't even mad. Like, you know, you thought about me and I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Because my pockets appreciate it.
Okay. Hello.
Facts, man. I mean, not only that, with this something in the water, but apparently there's something in Facebook because they got it out for...
Oh, man. Like,
for the minister.
Facebook is a fucking joke to me at this point. Like... Now, all of a sudden, you trying to come at Minister Farrakhan, you know, saying that he basically dislikes Jews and is position and hate talk.
Right.
But the same dude out here didn't care about none of our privacy. Done leaked out, let all our information be leaked out. Like, pick a side, Zuckerberg.
Yeah. I mean, which one you gonna have though? I mean, but you're absolutely right. Like, we care, you care about the voice, but it's only the voice that you care about, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah, say that shit again.
Yeah, in fact, you know, you care about the voice, but only the voice that you care about. Yeah, that's
Preach, Reverend.
You know what I mean? Shout out, you know. But no, like, it's for real, man. I hate that, you know. I saw the Breakfast Club joint with Charlemagne, and he was pretty much reading off the First Amendment, what exactly that was, and that is truly, you know, the government cannot abridge your right to freedom of speech, but because, you know, Facebook and it's a business, it's a private organization, they have the right to do whatever they want to do.
Sure, they have that right. Let's not get it twisted, but morally, is that the right position to have? Like, when it's supposed to be a platform for people to express and to relate to one another and come on, like, and share their lives and their views and their passions and their interests. Like, who are you to filter that shit when you can't even filter our information from being hacked, bro?
Right.
Like, get the fuck on out of here. And I feel like you only care about it because you're Jewish yourself.
Yeah.
And at this point, he's no longer Mark Zuckerberg. He's Mark Fuckerberg. Like, I'm over it.
Oh my God.
And I don't use Facebook no more either. And I'm starting to think that I should, you know, kind of scale back on the Instagram, because don't he own that too?
Oh, he does. Oh, man.
See, Instagram fucked up. They should have never sold.
Yeah, but I mean, they did the same thing with Amazon too. They took Minister Farrakhan's books off. Because apparently
that's hurtful, because it's like, how do I strike Amazon? Amazon Prime is like so fucking clutch. I know. But hey, we gotta do what we gotta do. Fuck it.
But the book that they've banned is pretty much his book, and I'm gonna look up the title, but it's a book that pretty much is trying to shed light on the relationship between Jewish heritage and blacks, just kind of exposing from his history and different type of historians, and that Jewish people had a big deal in slavery. Like, they were part of the slave trade in Brazil. They did a lot of stuff in the Americas. In fact, historians are quoted to say that if a slave auction happened on a Jewish holiday, they wouldn't have it, because the Jewish people had so much bank in the slave trade. So, like, you know, it's like he's kind of throwing the cover back on a lot of stuff historically, and it's information. Like, at the end of the day, it's information. Now, whether you're offended by the information, whether you believe the information, it's completely up to those who take interest in even reading or purchasing it. But you shouldn't be able to dictate what information is out there if you're going to be the type of company that says, right.
That's what's scary. You know, you're a company out here that's supposed to be so diverse.
Right.
You know, it's supposed to be serving so many groups of people globally.
Right.
You know, Amazon has vendors all over the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the fact that it's now 2019, these are modern men, modern Jewish men, who are that afraid and want to uphold their heritage and the lies and the deceit and the way that they have stolen and appropriated our culture, that they would rather still be underhanded and not allow the information to disseminate itself, and let people choose for themselves, and it's just allow it to be the truth. It is what it is. We can do better in the future if we know where we come from.
Yeah, absolutely.
On both sides. I don't mean to sound like Donald Trump here, but really though.
Yeah.
Like, but the fact that these modern men want to stop the information, they want to stop people from gaining that knowledge. Right. They're that afraid, and that shit is scary, and we got to really like pay attention.
And with it being so close to similar situations with obviously Nip and Dr. Sebi, like, there was a closeout of information there. He's trying to open up a wave to say, let me give people another insight on some information that isn't readily or nationally or locally even known. And all of a sudden, that's snipped off. And again, there's obviously, you know, debates on if that's even the case or not. But still, here it is, information that's just being cut off, and being cut off from the community that needs information. We need information. Like, our culture needs to be better financially. We need to be better, you know, economically. All that is the case, but just knowing who we are culturally.
But then this just shows the need for, young Black thinkers and doers
right.
and entrepreneurs. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, this should be a reason for all of us, whether we completely agree with Farrakhan or not. We agree with the movement.
Right.
We agree with the fact that he's trying to empower and educate our people.
Right.
At the end of the day, and that has not wavered over 50, 60 years.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think that's where I get from him. Like, I don't follow the Nation of Islam or anything like that. But when I hear Minister Farrakhan speak, it's very much so in a wise manner. I don't ever hear him incite any riots. No. Or say, hey, let's go do violence here or there. It's really trying to teach and empower that you are strong. You are a independent individual that can go out there and do incredible things, And it's like, it's also keep it in house. Like, let's build our brother.
But let's build our sister. It's no different than Chinese people and all these different Jewish communities. They all stick together, and it's the same thing.
They keep that dollar in house.
It's the same exact thing, but that was my point in saying that we need more Black entrepreneurs to create. We need our own Black planet. I don't believe Black planet was ever owned by Black people, but you get my point.
Right.
Oh, but actually, no, I take that back. At a certain point, Black Planet was actually acquired by Radio One, Media One, TV One. It's like all one conglomerate.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure they might even still own it, as well as like a bunch of other social media websites. But we need to have our own fucking platform so we can say no more Instagram, no more Facebook, because they ain't fucking with us. We need our own Amazon.com.
Yeah.
We can pull our resources. We got a lot of Black people out here hustling, trying to get it. Like,
and it's not to say that let it be that only Black people should be able to enjoy it, but we just want more Black people to produce it. We want more Black people to create it. We want more people to be the brain behind it. Like, when you have this product in your house in multicultures and be like, wow, this is a great product. And you're like, yo, did you know this guy was Black? Or did you know this woman was Black? Like, they created this thing. And I just think the more that we can create and inspire people to create and be thinkers, and not be afraid to be bold and speak and take charge and not hide under the cover of, I'm being polite. And
I felt that.
So, because sometimes you gotta walk in your greatness, and greatness is offensive to some people.
That's real.
So, people either gonna jump on board or they gonna try to, mutinize you. So, but yeah, man, it's tough. But for those who support, educate yourself, man. Don't let Minister Farrakhan's ban be the reason you stop. His voice being stopped should raise other people's voices even higher. So,
salute to Farrakhan and what he's doing, for sure.
Facts. So let's get into some of these these other topics that aren't so.
Yes, let me take out my motherfucking earrings, because I feel like it's finna get crazy in here. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Why you gotta? We not fighting. We not.
Look, made me drop my phone. Like,
yeah.
So we about to talk about what?
All right. So let's talk about adoption versus abortion. Okay. Right. It's a topic that hits our community very hard. You see a lot of abortion clinics in the hood, just around Black communities, and it's like adoption doesn't always seem to be the option that's put forth. In fact, if I may, Planned Parenthood's most recent report states that from October 1st of 2015 to September 30th of 2016, the organization performed 321,384 abortions and only 3,889 adoption referrals. That equals just one adoption for every 149 abortions. Man, yo, that's
crazy. Those numbers are crazy.
That number is staggering. And for me, I look at that number and it's like, man.
But my question is,
we talk. One of the greatest quotes that I hear is, the graveyards where you see the most richest of places, because that's where dreams are gone. That's where ideas that have never had the chance to form. That's where designs have been. So I look at this number and say, wow, man, look how many people we may have missed out on. How many brilliant minds, how many incredible testimonies and stories could have come from these lives that just were never given the opportunity to go forward.
That's real. That's deep.
Yeah.
But my question when I hear numbers like that is like, why so few referrals?
Right. But I think
why so few referrals?
Right. I think it's because it's more so that's not what's pushed. You know, it's no one is pushing adoption. It's just abortion is obviously a multi-million-dollar practice. Like, you know, somebody's getting rich off of them. Like, yeah, send them out, send them off to slaughter. You know what I mean? Like, somebody's getting rich off of them.
And let's be honest, some insurance programs actually will pay for abortions as well.
Yeah, and it's just tough that I feel like, you know, when you always say you got an angel and a demon. You know, not that one is an angel or a demon, but just saying that you have two opposing thoughts. You know, I think one always rings louder. Yeah, I mean, it's easy to just take that route, and in some cases, I understand it. You know, first thing you think of is, you know, rape situations. You know, if a child or a woman becomes pregnant, in those situations, shouldn't she have the choice? Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I would never say that they shouldn't have that choice. However, I would always recommend adoption. It's just, I am a believer. I believe that, you know, there are no mistakes. Even when bad things happen, there could be good brought out. We always talk about the rose that grew out of the concrete. Like, that's an impossible story, but it happens. You know what I mean? Like, and I just think that, you know, you should have the choice, but man, it's just tough when something can come out of nothing, man.
Something can definitely always come out of nothing, and I agree with you. I think that women should have the choice. I think that the bigger picture is that it's actually population control when it's the greater scheme of things.
Right.
That's why the referrals are so you know, few and far between at Planned Parenthood, because it's a government funded program. Let's not forget that as soon as one of the first things that Trump did when he walked into office was cut and slash the funding for Planned Parenthood. So forget about having these resources in the hood to provide these young women with education, testing, knowledge, means of protection, right? Birth control.
Right.
We're gonna slash the funding and then just leave them out here to just do whatever. Because at the end of the day, the mentality is that it's so hard to live in the hood right now that it's easier for them to figure out how to come up with $400 or $500 to pay for an abortion versus the daunting fear of not knowing how to put food on a table for a kid for another 18 years when you don't even know how you're going to do it for yourself right now or for your existing children right now. And then not to mention, you know, like when you're going through that, right? Whether you're raped or whatever the situation is, right? Like at the end of the day, like that's a traumatic experience. And this is something that you go through for 9, almost 10 months that you go through. Your body changes, your moods change, your temperament changes. All of these things are changing. And not to mention, oh, baby, your finances is changing too. Because when the baby comes, not only are you going to get a bill for yourself and all of your prenatal care, doctor's visits, and all of that, but you also, when you push that baby out or when they deliver it, however they deliver it, you're going to get a bill for that child as well.
Right. And I think the financial part of it, I think scares people. Like you said, I'm going to have to take care of a child for the next 18 years when I myself at this point am not even ready. I'm not even an adult yet. You know, you think about, you know, some of us been having sex since our teenage years. So, you know, you think about getting pregnant at 16, 18, 17. It's like, I'm not even ready for that thing. And it's like, but I think if it was a situation in which you were told that, hey, there's a different option. Like, for instance, I was looking at a private organization called American Adoptions. And with them, they even say that the adoption process is free. And a lot of times those parents or the expecting couple who would love to adopt your child will pay for living expenses, rent, things like that to help because, you know, as you already know, that pregnant stage is monumental for the development of your child. And apparently there's families that were willing to take that on for you. They want their baby to be so healthy that they'll make sure that you live a comfortable life and through the process and through the experience. But I think if that is not information that is handed out to anybody or everybody, I should say, then, you know, maybe abortion is the thing that you go with. You know,
and I just don't think that it's like as much stigma on it than it used to be, you know, like
as far as abortion, or
yeah, I don't think that as much. I mean, like now you know, in the last 10 years, I've met so many different women from different walks of life, different ages, different races, who all have openly, you know, discussed and admitted to having, you know, abortions for this reason or that. Yeah. You know, and I've been to clinics, you know, with my friends and things of that nature, and when you look around, you know what I'm saying, it's a little bit of everybody in there, you know, and it's just a sad, you know, like you looking around and sometimes you like trying to figure out like what's the story, you know what I'm saying,
right,
like
right.
And it's a sad thing, you know, it's a morbid thing to go in there, but at the end of the day, I believe that it's a grand scheme of things, and it's meant to continue to keep us oppressed, because at the end of the day, when you go through that process and you have that abortion because you felt like it was the best thing for you, your family, or what have you, at the end of the day, once you pay you have the procedure done, they give you your medication or whatever, that's it. Right. There's no referral to any, you know, therapy. There's nothing that follows up with any of this, so it allows these women to stay traumatized. Right. Like there is an emotional scar that is never really, really completely healed or dealt with.
I'm sorry.
No, that was really it.
I was gonna say, and to that point, I feel like you have that opportunity to reconcile, even if you feel like, you know, I think one of the big stigma is, you know, that I gave up on my child if I give them for adoption. Or even abortion. I feel like if you give your child up for adoption, there's always that opportunity for you to have a relationship. And a lot of adoption agencies you have the choice of choosing where your baby goes, what type of qualifications or what type of parents you want for your child, and even what type of communication do you want to have. Do you want to just be able to see them through pictures? Do you want to actually have a relationship with the child in some form or fashion? And I think that's dope, because that kind of helps ease that mental part. Because I can imagine.
I think it's easy to say that in theory, but the reality is it's not really that way, you know? And like for instance, like I don't really know anybody personally that has really gone close to me that's gone through this, right? Right. But I know, like for instance, on Black Ink Crew, Sky. Right. A lot of people watch that show that watch and tune into our episode, and I think that they could attest to the fact that she gave up both of her children when they were very young. They have a very nice family that took care of them in Texas. She lived her life, you know, had her trials and tribulations, and ultimately wanted to go back and reunite with her sons. And ultimately, you know, it was a challenge. It was a challenge for her and her child, both. Right. And her child has gone through a lot of trauma, and he has a lot of issues associated with her absence, one more so than the other, but still is a very challenging and awkward dynamic, and it's not that easy. Even when you know that your kids are well taken care of, there's still some mentality in the chemistry of the mind of the mother that feels a sense of responsibility, pride, and self-worth attached to their ability to take care of their child and be a mother. And when you're not there and you can't do that, no matter how good they're taken care of over here, there's a deficit within that mom. Right.
And I can feel that. And obviously I'm not a mother, so I can't attest to a mother's connection, but I feel like a mother's connection will allow her child, she would much rather the child be taken care of than hard comes. There's a story that talks about two women having a child. One of their child dies at night. I mean, the woman who lost her child steals the other woman's child, right? They go to court about it. The judge says, whose child is this? They both say they're both his. So the judge says, all right, we'll cut the baby up in half. We'll give the one mom half of the baby, the other mom the other half. One mom says, all right, that's fine with me. That's cool. The other mom says, no, please, by all means, just give her the baby. Then the judge rewards that mom the baby, because the mom she would have been happy having the baby split in half. She already lost hers. But he could tell the mother is true, because she would much rather lose the baby off for herself than to see the baby die. And to me, that's a real story. And I think about my mom, single parent mother, could have, bounced out, but that's just not the way. And I think, like I said, there's people that come along, like here, for instance, I'm gonna just name some people who are like famous that were adopted. Nelson Mandela was adopted. Steve Jobs was adopted. Jamie Foxx was adopted. Babe Ruth, Marilyn Monroe, Bill Clinton, and Eartha Kitt. Like, these are people who I can imagine still deal with some of the trauma of maybe not having their parent, or maybe they got a chance to meet their parent. But I think when you at least give a child the opportunity, life is going to take its course regardless. It is survival of the fittest, when it comes to certain things. But I think if you just give your child a chance, you'll be surprised, and in some sense, maybe even be proud. And when you look at your child on the screen, even if you're not there to be a part of their life, to say, wow, like that's my baby out there. You know what I mean? Like, you might cry to yourself, but you would feel much better saying, wow, look at what they become, as opposed to.
I think that some people don't feel like that. And I feel like there's, for the regular person, sure. When you have the mentality to take care of that, the ability to make that happen. And a lot of women, even though they're not up and don't have everything in the world, they know that they can take that on. But when you have people who are at that emotional deficit and they have mental issues, I don't think it's that easy, And I think that we can look at success stories both ways, you know what I mean? Like, but at the end of the day, you got to allow these women to make their choice at the end of the day and stick by it. But I think that we need to do better with making sure that we're pushing both sides of that, right? And when we're placing those referrals to do abortions, like, that it makes sense, and that we understand that, like, maybe there's some therapy and guidance that needs to go along with it. And it's in other scenarios where we can evaluate this option and we can encourage adoption, I think we should as well, because there's a lot of Black people who are educated, they're making money, and other minorities that would love to have these children and take care of them. But we have to make sure that we are pushing that agenda on both sides, because the government's not going to do it for us. Right. They want it to be population control. Absolutely.
Well, like I said, from me, I'm definitely pro-adoption, but, I would never put someone down if they were, happen to go to the abortion rate. But another topic, and this kind of came out of a personal scenario, is so let me tell you the scenario, and we'll talk about how the topic. So, all right, so I got this random woman slide into my DMs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, just
popping.
Right, I didn't know it. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't even know it was like that. You know what I mean? A difference of opinion show was put me on, apparently. You know what I mean? Yeah, but I had this random woman just slide into my DM, just randomly start a conversation. Now, the first thing that I thought, right, the first thing that I'm thinking is, obviously, it's, those people that all of a sudden now want to kind of tell you about some product or some scam or whatever. So, I tested, like, oh, who is this, that, and the third, and they actually have dialogue, so I know it's not no robot. And so the next thing I'm like, talking about, they're like, oh, I'm a model, this, that, and the third. So I go and look at their pictures, and, she's out here on the beach, got the bathing suit on, popping.
She look good?
Yeah. Like, I mean, she looked like she kind of was, had some work done. You know what I mean? Like, but unfortunately, in this day and age, a lot of people got work done. You know what I mean? But, so, like, she a traveling model, this, that, and the third. Cool. Like, it even got to the point, but I will say I had my suspicions. Because it's like, one, why would you randomly hit me up? You know what I mean? We're not in the same geological, location. You know what I mean? We have no mutual friends. Like, what are you doing talking to me? You know what I mean? So I even talked to Dub. I said, Dub.
Young catfish.
Yeah. I said, Dub, look at this picture. Look at this profile. You tell me if anything seems odd. You know what I mean? He's like, nah, bro, I think you just, you being too hard on him. I'm like, oh, okay. All right.
But
well,
this is Dub we're talking
about.
Right.
So like 2 weeks pass, and she slides back into the DM and shows me like a picture of her topless. Right? Yeah, I mean, so I'm like, all right, this is like, yeah, I mean, this is like going a little extreme. Like, this don't happen.
You felt uncomfortable, or?
Well, no, it's not that I felt uncomfortable. Yeah, I mean, I'm not mad at no one showing me any breast.
You like Drake now?
Yeah, I mean, but it's just
no DMs.
But it's just it's it's just odd. It was just odd to me. You know, later on in the conversation, she then says, "Hey, I have a confession to make, or I want to tell you something. I want to be upfront. Hey, I'm a transgender."
Oh, got him.
Yeah.
You like them transgender? Did you double tap when you seen the booties? He did.
Yo.
He double tapped. Did you take it back?
No. however, and of course I'm taking it back. I'm also mad at Dub at this point. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because Doug gave me Doug said, "Yo, I'm tripping."
Did you see the tits too? You didn't even know that these was fake nigga tits. Come on.
Yeah. Yo, but it's like now however, I'll say this. Of course, I'm flabbergasted. Like, yo,
are you gonna show me your profile?
Yeah, I'll show you your profile. Yeah. So, like, I'm flabbergasted, but I respected it. You told me, like, okay. Yeah. I mean, I could appreciate you saying it because I'm sure, and I told the gentleman this, that
it's a she. You told her.
I told.
You told her.
I told the person I was talking to that I appreciate that. That's admirable because I'm sure having that conversation can't be too pleasant for everyone, you know. So, you know, we dialogue, we appreciate it, cool, but I'm good on that. You just be
I'm
easy.
Good, love, and joy.
Right. You be blessed. You know what I mean? But what come to find out, I was telling the scenario to my homeboy, and he asked me the name of the profile.
Oh, yeah, boy is out here.
Yo, like making a run. So the conversation came up like, yo, it would have been so much easier. Cause like, let's say, let's say she had never had the courage or was upfront about it. And let's say you start talking, this, that, and the third, like.
But have you guys ever considered that this person still might be catfish?
I mean, sure.
To test y'all to see what y'all, if, like, you know what I mean, to use it against you.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, you guys might need to sit down. You and your friend who she did this to with. Y'all need to sit together and y'all need to think about common bitches that might be mad at y'all or maybe shady. Because I feel like that's catfish, dog. Like how it's millions of people out here. Why she chose both of y'all to try?
Facts. I mean, look.
Y'all not even in the same area.
And there might be other people listening to us right now that maybe has already had this happen to. Because like I said, right, very, very much so. But either way, like if you didn't have that conversation, and let's say somebody went forward into actually talking and engaging, and all of a sudden now I would be highly livid. You hear me? Like
that's why she told you, because she valued her life.
I mean, and
if it was gonna be a meetup, like they know that like dudes get killed for much less.
Very much so, very much so. So which brought up the point. Let's say when I originally had my suspicions, I could have easily went and put information in a name and see if maybe this person came up on a registry.
You're bugging.
So now the question becomes
transgender registry.
Yes.
.org.
Yes.
.org.
Yes.
No, bro.
Especially if let's say that, or let's say this. I believe you should have transgender registry for those who are already gone through the full process.
Why though?
Or be legally responsible to be upfront with the person, like be legally fine.
But those are two completely different things.
Why?
It is completely different.
Why?
It's completely different because one, it gives access to the whole public to invade people's privacy, and then for them to become targets.
Yeah, but
hold on.
Okay.
Whereas to be legally required to advise somebody before you engage in intimate acts is different, because it puts the onus on that person. And then if you are found to not, be in compliance with that, then you'll be penalized, whether you're jailed or fined or whatever it may be. But you have to keep in mind that like a national registry, the only reason why we have national registry for sex offenders is because they're still out here free roaming the streets, and people need to be able to protect themselves and their children accordingly. When you're dealing with this, it's a little bit different.
So let's talk about the sex offender list.
Before you say that, right? Someone in the chat says registry ? They said in that case you need a ST. I guess they're asking is that STD registry.
Yeah. So when you go and get tested for STDs, you go get tested for HIV. You are required to sign a document that says that if you are found to be HIV positive, that you go into a registry. Like, and I think that's.
So you're telling me like you can go. There's a registry. Why don't I know about this? Why didn't I know that any nigga that I ever talked to that I could before ever even fucking choosing to go to Denny's with this nigga, that I could just go on HIVregistry.org and be like, is this nigga's dick dirty?
Look, I mean,
there's no such thing. They are required though legally to tell you and make sure that you're protected and you consent to being able to interact with them. And I feel like the same should be true for transgender, but that is a complete invasion of privacy. And the layman does not need to know whether your dick you was born with it or not.
So
they don't.
You do.
No, you don't.
You
not
do.
unless you choose to be intimate with that person and build a life with them.
Right.
You don't need to know.
Right,
I don't need to know if my next door neighbor was born with these.
But why would you be looking it up? Why you
That's
would,
my point.
You would only go to the registry if you felt something was suspect.
You're a fucking liar. You know that people look at shit and try to expose people because they're bored.
Oh man, but okay.
They're bored.
Yeah, but that's
and they hate themselves.
But how? All right, so how many times?
People troll on the internet?
Right, but there's a troll for everybody. You can't stop trolling.
So why are we going to create an area and opportunity for these people to get trolled when we can just easily say you are legally required?
Right,
and if I
do you know how many people are legally supposed to do a lot of stuff that doesn't happen?
Exactly, but you are responsible for that. So if you file charges, and they're responsible for that.
But
at the end of the day,
but we see it so many times where people get so deep in a lie that they cannot get themselves out of. Could you imagine you finding a woman? Well, I mean, so a man finding a woman. You know, they do their due. Like this used to be a man who's now had the whole surgery. Like, and he wonders why. Like, why we not having kids? Is it me? Like, you know, like what's going on? And then come to find out, now you got to break
registry though.
Like, and let's talk about sex offenders, right? Now
you
label.
You want them to wear a scarlet letter.
No, you don't have to wear it.
A scarlet letter.
Again.
I'm a tranny.
Again.
A rainbow.
Again, I think you should only have to be on a registry if you went through the full process. You no longer have any remnant of what you used to be. Now, if you are, let's say,
I think it matters to the general population. It doesn't need to be out there for the general public. Dog.
It does. It needs to be available because like some people's.
Because you got scared because you double tapped them titties. That's why. That's why you wanted to be a registry.
But that's for their safety too. You just said if somebody was to meet up, their life is in danger.
Yeah.
But however, to take that and not to take the responsibility off of them. But again, if I'm already finding you suspect. What if I could look your name up and you're on a transgender registry?
You might like it.
No, it's not that. It's just I don't want to be lied to, and that's exactly what it is. Like if I'd have known you were a man off top, I would have never approached you. However, because you gave me the facade that you're a woman, I approached you, and that's false. Like whether you feel that way or not, like I feel like if you don't tell me.
You're done trumping right now, bro. Period.
How? I'm just saying.
Period. Do we got another question?
No,
You Donald Trumping.
How? You can't put me in Donald Trump. Stop it, Bob. Yeah.
A couple of comments.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, she's solo. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. Forgive me. Says, I don't believe the registry.
Oh, she's Lowell.
Yeah, she's Lowell. Okay. I don't believe the registry is for public. That violates the HIPAA.
Ooh, honey, yes, for the HIPAA law. She knows. She know.
Yeah.
Miss_P81. What's between someone's leg? It's between them and the person they sleep with.
Thank you, boo boo.
She says again to kill. Get to know someone deeper than liking topless.
Yeah, check the Adam's apple.
Yeah, but you can get your Adam's apple shaving down. Exactly. It's too much. It's too much magic being happening. All right.
Sorcery.
It's complete sorcery. And again, you should be legally responsible to tell somebody that you are transgender, or you should be. And if you've gone through the whole process, like, I would feel more comfortable addressing it like, yo, I thought you was, cool. I seen your name up. We can't proceed forward because, like, that's just not my lane. Like, yo, I feel like I should have the knowledge. Like, let's talk about the registry with sex offenders. Not everybody who's on a sex offender registry is somebody out here just liking little girls. I know for a fact.
Oh, absolutely.
Dudes who were 18, just graduated high school and were dating maybe a junior in high school, were 16, and their parents didn't like it. So they called the cops. This, that, and the third. Now, because he's an adult and she's a minor, now he's on a sex offender registry as somebody who likes little girls. And that's a complete label, but his name is out there now. You can type him up and put him in there for something that's so minute, but his name is up there. And I feel like
that's how it is.
But nobody's looking him up to come and put a pitchfork at his door to come and raid him as a sex offender. It's just information that's available to those who it's impertinent to, who care about the information. Right now, listen to this.
I get it. I understand. You feel this is very personal to you because you got these titties and you didn't know they belonged to a man. And I understand.
Yeah.
You are really reaching.
How am I reaching?
A public registry for anybody to just know it's not necessary.
Why is it?
It's not necessary. Just kind of how I feel like. Why is it necessary on a job application to know my sex? Also, why is that necessary? Why is it necessary to know what my ethnicity is?
Because that's your identity. That's hooked to your identity. Like, you know what I mean?
Why does a job that is not?
Because there's other Brittany Johnsons out there.
No, that's not what I'm saying, bro. What does my sex or race have to do with my job application status? It has nothing and no bearing on my ability to do the job. Think about that for a second.
Yeah, but I mean, when we're talking about legal information about how we're paying you.
No, it's not about how you're being paid. Think about the big picture here. You being able to do a job, the job that you go and currently clock into. Mm-hmm. Does you being a man have any bearing on your ability to do that job? You being black or white or Chinese, it has absolutely no bearing. But that's how the system is set up because believe it or not, they are monitoring how many of us they allow in and out. And they're trying to get grants and they're trying to get funding based on how many of us that they allow and allow us to be their show ponies.
And I was just about to say that. It's easy to look at it from the opposite side, trying to discriminate. But what if it's equally the opposite, trying to make sure that people aren't discriminating? We want to know what type of employees are. Let's say you never had to put whether male or female. It didn't matter to those who are checking, records and census and audits of who's working for a business or who these people are employing. Then you run that risk of saying, "Oh, you guys don't never hire women. Oh, y'all don't never hire black folks." You know what I mean? But what that does now, because I can put I'm black and I'm a man, or you're black and a woman, or I'm Muslim and I'm a woman, or whatever.
That's what they want us to believe, but that's why we're at it. That's why we are behind.
But how else do you check a job to make sure that it's hiring equally?
It's not about that. It's about the fact that it's bigger than that. It's bigger than them trying to hire equally. It's the fact that they can use these reports, they can use these numbers, this information to pull funding, pull it from here to take it there to, at the end of the day, to uplift and change neighborhoods. I forget what the name of it is.
Redlining.
Gentrification. That's what I was looking for. To gentrify neighborhoods and shit like that. That all of this is being used to these same people who are blocking Farrakhan from awakening the people. They are using these things against us to remove the funding of Planned Parenthood, to allow our women to be more traumatized and to push more abortions than adoptions. All of it is a bigger scheme of things, and that's how they do it. Through you slightly checking a box thinking, oh, well, maybe if I check this box and I tell them that I'm African-American, that I'll be the African-American hire, and maybe they'll give me a leg up. But you never really know.
So let me ask you, are you mad that they let you in because you black? Why are you applying?
Yes, I'm upset about that because you talk about love and you talk about equality.
Yep.
When we talking about love and equality, those things shouldn't have any bearing. You should want to have the best person for the job.
Right.
You should want to treat me the same as you would treat this person and then the person next door, whether they're born in the United States, whether they're a college graduate or not. We all should be equal.
Should you also be treated equally if you were, let's say, you were wrong in the past, like you had a behavior issue in the past, or let's say you murdered somebody, let's say you robbed or stole, and a person that has been offensive to somebody else, should you also look at that person and love them the same way as you look at somebody who may have never been to jail for anything?
I think that definitely you should, but that doesn't negate the fact that there needs to be certain protections in place, so we're not just naive and vulnerable and allowing criminals to run rampant and be repeat offenders. What
about non-violent offenders?
Correct, and like for instance, the sex offenders registry, it has that indication on the registry when you look it up. It'll say whether this person was a violent or non-violent offender, and it gives you their address. It gives you their mugshot so you can know what they look like. Mm-hmm. And it also, if I'm not mistaken, it tells you kind of like the code that they violated, what type of offense it was as well. So you're able to make that determination. I mean, because yourself. But the idea is
knowledge is power. I mean, knowledge is also safety and also just being aware. Like, you know what I mean? I don't think a registry. I don't think unsafe is the fact that you just don't approve of it. Well, it's not necessarily.
Those people don't need to be on the registry.
But you got to also understand of cultural differences. You got to also understand of beliefs. You got to also understand of just what that can do to a person mentally. Let's say a person does, let's say, proceed forward with someone that they thought and believed to be the the sex that they're dating, you know what I mean, originally. And later they find out that you aren't who they say you are. Now, what you may have caused in that person is a lot of questions that come off. Like, yo, am I gay? Like, you know what I mean? Like, now you caused whether you meant to or not, I know it was all intended out of love. Yeah, I just wanted this person to love me for who I am. I didn't want them to look at me as this and not give me a shot. I understand. That's how I feel about astrology. I hate when somebody asks me what my sign is. Because as soon as I say what my sign is, they automatically have put me in a box. Like, oh, you're this because now I remember all the other Pisces men that I dated, and I can guarantee you're going to fall right in there. I hate that. I'd rather you not ask me what my sign is because I already know you're going to try to prejudge me. And there's too many other factors that have happened in my life to make me who I am. You know what I mean? So it's like, I can understand that.
That say that, and do you ultimately end up falling into that category?
I don't know. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm sure you
do. And I don't know.
It's okay though.
Yeah,
I mean, astrology and stuff like that, it's not for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just, for my own personal belief, I just think there's more than how many signs are there? 12.
It depends on
12.
what system you.
Oh, see, yes.
So let me just share just a couple more comments here.
Yeah, come on, y'all better be chiming in. Yeah, yeah. She Lowell.
She Lowell. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, she Lowell. My apologies.
What's up, love?
You basically want a registry because you got bamboozled in your DMs.
Yeah.
And your discernment, if he was off.
Obviously, it was on because I had questioned it. You know what I mean? It's just I got bad.
You double tapped them titties though.
I mean, because there's women out there with fake. There's women out there that have had a negative A cup their whole life. That unfortunately fake titties don't look real for them either. Like,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
I mean,
Who else?
Miss_P81 says we should not have a registry with trans because of the time we live in. These people are targeted, killed, and abused. It wouldn't be the safest thing because you got bamboozled through your IG.
Yeah. I just said this sparked the conversation. Who
else?
Where's the fellas at? Let's talk about it. Why we got, you know what I mean? Look, all I'm saying is there should be a requirement to let me know that you aren't who you say you are, or you aren't who you say you were.
And I don't hear those girls disagree with you either. We just think that the registry is extra, and you trumping.
Wow.
Period.
Look, if you're responsible legally to tell somebody you have HIV, because obviously that's important. Why do you need to go on a registry? If you're already legally,
so like if something happens and you need to go to the hospital and you can possibly get somebody else contaminated, they need to know that so they can like care for you. Just the same way, like if you have like certain allergies, serious allergies, people like have certain identifier bracelets.
But those are medical records, But this is a completely different registry.
Exactly.
Like it's a whole different.
Exactly.
All right, and going through the surgery of completely transforming yourself into the opposite gender, that's different too. That's special too. Like that's
also special because she just sparking y'all's niggas' interest that y'all all responded. So I want to talk to her. Can we get her live on the show?
Should I assume every woman that slide in to DMs is transgender?
No, you shouldn't.
All right then. So what's the problem?
You can't go to a registry. You gotta have that honest conversation.
You should have
somebody like Shorty said.
Absolutely, you should have to have that honest conversation. But there's a lot of people that are not having honest conversations. Like, honesty is a rare trait nowadays. Like,
you really shook that you might get.
I'm not shook. I'm just posing the question. Should there be a registry?
But you really believe it. Like you really still hype about it.
I'm not. We having the conversation.
You
make it seem like I brought this up 2 days later. Like, we having a conversation now.
But you definitely you really want this registry.
Okay.
But that's cool.
All right. Yeah, I mean.
Well, I appreciate you ladies tuning in.
Facts, man. We gotta get some more fellas up here, man. I gotta do some recruiting.
We're gonna have to discuss this at the round table to figure out whether or not we can get this girl to jump in on our live.
Yeah, man.
Tell us about it. Tell us her perspective. I mean, she's living this life.
Absolutely.
And she did the admirable thing and real about it. So I feel like she might be open to having a discussion with us.
And I think if you could open that up and be honest, and we could have more mature people to have that dialogue back and say, wow, I appreciate you telling me that was dope. Yeah, I mean, and we can still be friends, like, because you want honest people like that around you, like, I mean, or at least be connected with honest people, somebody that's not afraid to just be truthful. And it's like, dope, I can't proceed forward, chatting and talking with you like on that level, but I respect you, I appreciate it. Much love and respect to whatever you got going on. That's super dope. Yeah, I mean, like that's how the conversation should be, and I think that would open up the dialogue for more people to be honest about, hey, this is who I am now. You know what I mean? And, we gotta, and that's where love comes in. That's love. You know what I mean? Somebody because honesty is love. You know what I mean? And if somebody's showing you love by being honest, you have to show love back by being respectful and understanding and try to work it out that way, man.
That's
show
a good
love.
Closing note, bro.
Hey, come on. Big
facts. This is the difference of opinion. Hey. Again, it's your girl, MsKickRocks.
And it's your boy, ShmaccinMcLitty. Go follow us. Go subscribe. I know you love us. I know you hate us sometimes, too. Or just me. Yeah, I mean, just me.
I don't know.
What's up,
All right, y'all. Take it easy until next week.
Come on.